So since it's impossible to fish right now, today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to do a video of my rod and reel arsenal. So the first setup I'm going to show you, the rod is a Cabela's ZX Tournament Series rod. It's a 7-1 medium heavy, and it's specifically designed for spinnerbaits and swim jigs. I don't fish swim jigs a lot, but I do fish spinnerbaits a lot. I also like it for jerkbaits and topwater. It's just a really good multi-purpose rod. I kind of use everything on it. And the reel is a Shimano Caius. I bought it over the winter. I was going to put it on a different rod, but I found that this rod matched it better. So on the reel I have 40-pound Power Pro Max Quattro, even though it is an extra $10 for the spool of line or something. I find that the line fades 3 times more slowly, so if you fish a lot and your line fades in the sun, this is really good stuff to get. So the next setup I have here is my Shimano X-Age rod. It's a 7-foot rod, medium power and moderate action, and it's not as stiff as the last rod I showed you, but it still has lots of backbone, so it's great for hook sets. And the tip vibrates a little more, so you can feel the bites a little bit better. And the reel I have on here is a Shimano Curado 200i, and again I have the Power Pro Max Quattro line on it, 40-pound test. I got the reel for only $140, so it was one of the best purchases I've ever made in fishing. It has great brakes, great drag, it's really smooth. Honestly, I have no complaints about it. So this rod here is sort of a backup rod. It's my Abu Garcia Vengeance. It's a 6.6 medium action rod, and it's sort of flimsy, so that's one thing that I would complain about it. It's, even though my other rod has a medium action, it has a really nice backbone and everything, but this rod, it's not as nice to use. It was really cheap, so I bought it a long time ago. And then the reel I have on it is again a really cheap reel, the Abu Garcia Silver Max. I bought it a long time ago on Tackle Warehouse because it was only like $30 or something. And I have 14-pound fluorocarbon on this reel. I mostly use it either when I need a lot of rods because I don't know what the fish are going to be eating, so I need to, if I want to throw out, say, a Senko or something really quickly, and my other rods have something else on them, I can just take this rod and catch the fish. Also, I use it for more clear water presentations because I have fluorocarbon on it. All my other bait casters have braid on them. I bought this setup last year specifically for frog fishing. I wanted to try more bass techniques that I hadn't really done a whole lot of before, like frog fishing, because I knew that they could be really effective, and I wanted to increase my confidence in those techniques. So I bought this Daiwa Laguna reel. It has a 7:3:1 gear ratio, which is really important when fishing a frog. And I have the reel spooled with 40-pound Power Pro Max Quattro. The rod is a Quantum Smoke 7.4 heavy, and it has micro guides, so it's really good. I really like it for casting, so it's more accurate because of the smaller guides. And it's nice and long, so you can make longer casts as well, longer casts and more accurate. So you can target those little pockets in between the lily pads, for example. And yeah, so that's my frogging setup. I'm looking forward to using it this summer again to hopefully break my personal best of 6 pounds 6 ounces. This is my muskie setup. Last year I sort of started spending a little bit more time muskie fishing. I caught a lot of pike, so I wasn't super successful with the muskies, but I hooked into a muskie one day and it ended up being too big for my muskie net, so unfortunately I couldn't land it. I had lots of follow-ups and everything, but unfortunately last year I couldn't land any. Yeah, so the reel I have is an Abu Garcia Ambassador STX. It's a round bait caster, so it has a higher gear ratio. I have it spooled with 60-pound braid, and it has a really smooth drag, casts really far. I've had no problems with this reel whatsoever. The rod is a Cabela's Tourney Trail muskie rod. It's an inexpensive rod that I bought because I'm not someone who fishes exclusively for muskie, who has a whole bunch of different setups for muskie. I just wanted one rod that I could use for muskie that I could basically throw any bait I wanted on it. So some of the baits I use for muskie are top raiders, Suix, big crankbaits, and stuff like that, sort of the typical stuff. Bucktails is one thing I use a lot. And hopefully this year I can actually catch another big muskie like the one that I caught back when I was in grade 7. So finally onto the spinning setups here. This is actually a Daiwa Revros combo. I bought it at Canadian Tire about 1.5 years ago for $40. So it's probably one of the best, if not the best, fishing purchase I've ever made, because it's a great rod and a great reel, especially the reel. I've used this rod for so many different species. Like, I don't even know how many species I've caught in the ocean on this thing, because I like to take this rod to Mexico and to other places where I fish saltwater. And then I also use it around here for so many different species like brook trout, lake trout, walleye, smallmouth. I'm not a big panfish person, but it's really a great rod all around for a variety of species. The second spinning setup I'm going to show you guys is made up of parts from about 4 or 5 different rods and reels. So the reel is an Abu Garcia Ultra Cast, and the handle of it actually broke. So I took a handle off of another random spinning reel and put it on here, and it actually works great, even better than the original one, I think. And so I have 12-pound monofilament on this reel, and the rod, the bottom half of it, is part of an Abu Garcia Specialist combo. The top half is part of some random Shimano spinning rod. I really like this rod to take on whitewater canoe trips, for example, because if the canoe happens to flip or during a portage, like, the rod can go through some pretty rough situations. So it's a durable rod, and I won't be too upset if it breaks, because it's kind of just completely made out of parts. So those are the main setups I'm going to be using this year. I have lots of other odds and ends. For example, I have 2 fly rods that I was given. I use them just for fun, for example, to fish for smallmouth on the river. Carter was nice enough to give me this reel that he never uses. It's a Shimano Socorro, and what I'm thinking is that it's mostly a saltwater reel, so next time I go fishing in the ocean for who knows what, I can bring this reel along with me. And I just need to find a rod for it, because I don't really have a rod that fits this reel nicely. So yeah, and I have a whole bunch of other pieces of spinning rods and reels that don't really match, that I just sort of have. But anyways, thanks for watching the video. If you stayed all the way until the end, that's impressive, because this video is pretty boring. But hopefully soon the open water season will begin, and we will be targeting fish. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned.